Traders, investors, what is going on? We are back. So let's talk about nano dimensioning. We haven't talked about these guys in a little bit. Missed the bottom. This is why charting supports and resistances are important, boys. Got to spot catch points. So it's been a little bit, like I said, since we did a video, so I'm not going to bore you with the recap. We'll dig into what's going on currently. Slight recap. I'm going to touch on something they released in January. But let's talk about the next buying opportunity. And your hint is right here. So tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central, so I guess that's 9 a.m., they're going to report earnings and they're going to have their earnings call. Now, the market was a little bit choppy today. I'm expecting tomorrow to be nice. You know, we finally got STEM news, and Biden is going to sign it on Friday, I think is what we heard last. So I think this rally continues. Might see a little bit of chop, but I'm expecting the next day or two to be green, especially Friday. So we got earnings tomorrow, and generally speaking, there's always a dip on earnings. There's always going to be a dip. So I don't expect these earnings to be amazing. I expect the guidance to be good. A little while ago, I showed you guys a clip of the CEO talking in an interview that he had. He was saying even though with the Nano's 3D print as a service project that they started, that sales were down. And so I don't think that we're going to get a stellar report here, but I still like the direction we're heading in. So classic, Mom has good things to say always about these guys. She said originally they called themselves a 3D circuit board printing company. Now Nano Dimensioning has broadened their view of itself into a 3D printing technology device company. Okay. She goes on to say one of the important things about Nano Dimensioning is the fact that they're getting defense agency contracts, and that's something that I've been harping on, from the beginning. Government money is not easy money to come by, as all you workhorse boys know. And so I agree with the statement. You look where defense is putting their money, the government isn't stupid. They might do stupid things, but they're not stupid. Got an unusual call block. Ooh, bearish. That's a little ways out. So yeah, I bet you thought I was going to say offering. Not this time. I think they've done quite enough. What do they have? Over $1 billion in offering money now? Like 1.5, 1.4, something crazy like that. I mean, that's most of their market cap. I think they have a $2 billion market cap at this point. And I figured there's some people like me that didn't manage to get back in this. I was averaging down on some swings that I had, buying some other things, and I did not manage to pick them up. But I think I might have my opportunity tomorrow. So while I have you guys here, I want to look at this real quick. So this is a presentation they sent out in late January, and I'll link this in the down there if you haven't seen it and you want to check it out. But I wanted to show you some of my favorite slides in here. And I'll also play devil's advocate a little bit. I'm not just going to give you all the pros, I'll give you some cons too. So this is cool as shit. No fab house can do that. I mean, sure, you could have this 3D printed, still requires 3D printing, and then you could get small little surfboards like this kind of spun, and you could stack them and, do something similar to that, but you couldn't get this kind of form factor. So when you're trying to do really dense, highly integrated devices like this, I mean, this is definitely the easiest and the cheapest way. I mean, if you sent these design files to a board house, they would absolutely throw a fit. I like this right here, not anything new, but RF antennas, microstrip technology, they have to be very precise. You're talking about tuning a signal, creating an antenna and catching a frequency. And RF antennas are in lots of things. So anyways, the reason I pointed out RF antennas specifically is the last firm I was at, I was actually working on a project that had RF antennas in it. It was a cooking appliance. And so we had to design an RF antenna for it, and it took us a couple turns. We had to spin the board a few times. I think it was like 3 times. And even with software, so we used ComSol, I think it was called. I'll throw some pictures up on screen. But it was software where you could lay out your microstrip, lay out your RF antenna, and you could simulate, the signal, the frequency. It would generate Smith charts and all the stuff you needed to dial the thing in. And even with that, we spun the board, I think it was like 2 or 3 times. Now, we sent it to a quick turn house, an overseas one, so it took about a week. But we wasted probably 2 weeks just waiting on boards to come in. So that's where this system is amazing. I mean, whether it can truly replace a fab house, whether they can truly create something that is capable of medium to high yield runs, production runs, that's neither here nor there. But what is certain is rapid prototyping, this thing takes the cake. It is an absolute home run. If they could make that substrate a little bit more robust, a little more temperature resistant, I think this thing would be absolutely killer. This is really cool because you can print a couple antennas, characterize it, and then you could send it off to a fab and have it made right the first time. 50 layers, I don't know about that, holds breath. Alright, so here's the con. All of this replaces this. That will never happen. It won't. The complexity, the tolerance, the reliability, the current handling capability, you won't be able to beat what a fab can do. These things are really cool, and the product is really cool, and maybe if they change their substrate, they'd be able to get rid of some of the downside. But as it stands right now, the circuit boards are fairly brittle. You could drop them and they'd break. And they don't handle heat very well. And so for something that you have to hand solder or send through a reflow oven and have the parts baked on, heat being an issue is an issue. Now, if you watch the video where I called headquarters, they actually said that they fixed that issue a little bit. It's not solved, but it's better. So I have hopes that they can fix that in the future. But as it stands right now, the circuit boards that it makes are brittle and they're heat sensitive. And yeah, I'm not going to bore you with the rest. Those are just the two slides that I really liked. And I'll link it in the down there. But that is it for this one, boys. So hit the thing, do the stuff, follow me on the stuff and things. If you don't, join the Discord, and I will catch you in the next one, traders.